Hello everyone, I am Prince Mishra, and in the series of optional syllabus detailing, we already have covered section A of paper 1. Now we will move to the section B of paper 1. Section B of paper 1 is being referred by the UPSC as human geography. So section B is being referred as human geography, and this section human geography has been divided in 5 different chapters. The first chapter is geographical thought, which UPSC writes as perspectives in human geography. Then we have economic geography. Then we have population and settlement. Population and settlement is being combined in one chapter. Then we have regional planning. And then these are the 4 chapters. These 4 chapters will have different laws, theories, models, and all the laws, theories, model belonging to the different topics have been clubbed in one chapter. So we have a models, laws and theories. So these are the 5 chapters that are part of the human geography, that is paper 1 part 2 or section B. Now these 5 chapters are being referred as the human geography, but within the human geography we have the major component. Human geography covers variety of the areas, so its scope is very wide, but in this wide scope, the one very important component of the human geography is economic geography. So if you look out the chapters, then you will find out of the 4 chapters, 2 chapters can be referred as the chapters belonging to the human aspect, and the 2 chapters are solely associated with the economic aspect. So that is why I used to divide this human geography 4 chapters, because the 5th chapter models, laws and theory is a common chapter. So models, laws and theories में जो topics है that are very much associated with the regional planning, population, settlement, economic geography. So all the chapters, some of the topics is being written again. That is why in a way models, laws and theory is the repetition of the topics that are being mentioned. So if you look out from the topic perspective, we have only 9 chapters, not the 10th chapter, because 10th chapter covers, it writes all the topics that you already have studied either in some of the chapter like geographical thought, economic geography, population, regional planning. So I divide these 4 chapters in 2 components, that is the human component and the economic component. The first chapter, geographical thought, and the population and settlement is part of the human component, whereas the economic geography and regional planning mainly associated with the economic component. In this session, we will look out the details of the human component, that is perspectives in human geography and the population and settlement. UPSC writes the population and settlement, UPSC refers the topics of population and settlement in one chapter only, but for your convenience, I have divided these 2 topics separately. So we will learn in the form of population geography separately and the human geography separately. Perspectives in human geography, the topic itself is very interesting, because this chapter mainly associated with geographical thought. Geographical thought means the historical evolution of the geography. This historical evolution of the geography, we know this, the different, the knowledge about the how the geography have been saved over the period of time. There are different very good sources, but out of all the sources, one of the very important source is the book of Hertzshawn. So Hertzshawn has written 2 different books, and one of the book title itself is the Perspectives in Human Geography. So UPSC have directly picked up that title of the book, and it has referred this chapter. So here the very first thing that you are supposed to study is historical evolution of human geography. in the historical evolution, you will come across with the different ideas, different approaches. So geographical, this chapter Perspectives in Human Geography mainly talks about the philosophy. So it is the philosophical aspect of the human geography. Which approach first emerged, why that approach has been rejected, or what are the good aspects of that approach. Initially, most of the modern geography starts from the time of the idea that has been given by the two very important geographer of the German. So these German geographers have come out with the different concepts, and that concept we study in the form of perspectives in human geography, like Alexander von Humboldt and the Karl Ritter. So mainly the human geography starts, the traces of the human geography we can trace from the time of Richthof and Hettner, but mainly the modern geography has been associated with the time of Humboldt and the Ritter. Both the Alexander von Humboldt and the Karl Ritter happens to be the of a very similar age, same time period both were writing, and both of them have propagated for the unification of the geography. But definitely if you read the writings of both the philosopher, then we get to know that in one way the Alexander von Humboldt were most associated with the physical geography and the Karl Ritter associated with the human geography. Of course, they in fact have rejected this kind of differentiation. But these different ideas have given birth to the one very important aspect, that is the dualism and dichotomy. Every problem will have a two different solution, and these two different solutions are different. So when you will have any problem and if you will have the two different solutions, that is the dualism. And if these two problems are almost opposite to each other, contrasting each other, that is the dichotomy. So dualism and dichotomy has started right from the time of the Alexander von Humboldt and the Karl Ritter. Of course, it became very systematic when we have the idea of behavioralism and when we have the idea of environmentalism and the humanism. So environmentalism simply believes that everything is being associated with the nature. So nature is the supreme, whereas the possibilism idea is being suggestive that definitely the nature will have a greater role, but we cannot ignore the role of the humans. So Vidal de la Blache and Radgel has given this dualism and dichotomy altogether a very systematic approach, systematic phase in the human geography. So that is all you are supposed to study in this historical evolution of the human geography. Then how this environmentalism and possibilism has over the period of time has evolved. Then comes the idea of the areal differentiation, the regional synthesis, the quantitative revolution. Quantitative revolution has almost become a most important phase in human geography during the Second World War time period. Then later on, quantitative revolution has been countered. So some other aspects like humanistic approach have emerged, behavioral approach has emerged, radical approach has emerged. So there has been a different approach, and whenever a new approach is emerging, it is very clear new approach is like a new solution. If a new solution is emerging, it simply means that the earlier solution that we have provided must have been some problem. So different approaches you are supposed to study: quantitative revolution, locational analysis, radical approach, behavioral approach, human and welfare approach. So all these approaches are nothing but these are the historical evolution. The areal differentiation, regional synthesis, the UPSC is writing these two separately simply refers that they give greater importance to the this idea that you should be very clear that how the regions are unique, how the regions are distinct from each other, and what binds this region or what makes this region, how the regions evolve. So that is the regional synthesis. So you need to study these two separately. These are very much part of the historical evolution. So it comes in this, but they are writing separately. It means It shows the importance of these two topics. Then we have the environmentalism. Environmentalism is one of the environmentalism is being associated with the Radgel's idea, but Radgel's idea is associated with a more or less very radical approach in a way. But this environmentalism also look out the post-modernism environmentalism, the present time period, how the environment is affecting the whole aspects of the human geography. Quantitative revolution has given a birth to the phase of the theory building, models, laws, and that theory model became a normal phenomena in the geography, and everyone was just trying to come out with the theories, models. So these are the things that you are supposed to study. But this chapter not only covers the philosophical aspect, this chapter also covers some of the important human aspect. Some of the important human aspect is being part of the second part of this chapter. And very important thing that you need to understand, majority of the students only focus on this part. They ignore this part, and in last 3 to 4 years, they are regularly asking the question from this part. So you are also supposed to study the language, the different religions, secularization. Then also you are supposed to study the cultural regions of the world, how the regions are based on the culture. What is the Muslim culture? What is the Indian culture? So different cultural regions that has developed over the period of time on the surface, that cultural regions, cultural realm that you are supposed to study. Then we have the Human Development Index. In the present time period, one of the most important indicator for the development, because this Human Development Index is some in one way or other is very much associated with the economic aspect. So थोड़ा economic aspect में भी है जहाँ पे growth और development की बात की जाती है, but because here they are not looking for the that growth and development debate, rather they are only concerned about the Human Development Index. Human Development Index mainly based on the, it is being prepared based on the different components like health component, economic component, and also the particularly education. So health, education, and economic component is associated with the Human Development Index. It is more in current in nature, because every year the Human Development Index is being declared, so you need to be in touch with the contemporary or current affairs. Now if you look out the questions in 2024, the UPSC has asked question from the geographical thought, 25 marks, and in 2023 also 2 questions have been asked. So in both the 2024 and 2023, 25 marks question has been asked. Like if you look out the first question, critically examine the significance of behavioral approach in the development of the human geography. So direct question is being asked, behavioral approach. Behavioral approach is one of the approaches in the human geography. So direct question. Explain how the physical view of the geographical space has impacted the forms of spatial analysis. So spatial analysis is part of the your regional synthesis, as well as areal differentiation. So again, it's a little bit, we cannot say that it's a purely a direct question and it's easy, but it is a moderate question, can be answered through the study of areal differentiation and the regional synthesis. When you will look out the page 2023, explain the sequential development of areal differentiation as a fundamental concept in human geography. Again, a direct question, easy question. Areal differentiation किस तरीके से evolve हुआ? Before the areal differentiation, what were the different philosophy that were prevalent and how this areal differentiation has been developed. Then what is the relationship between gender equity and human development? So gender equity and human development is associated with the Human Development Index. Along with the Human Development Index, also you will have the Inequality Index. Then provide a list of commonly used gender related indices. So the different gender related indices that are being utilized, that also supposed to be referred. So again, it's a little bit moderate question, applied question, contemporary in nature. So it doesn't mean that the geographical thought or the perspectives in human geography is purely static. Continuously you need to update your contemporary aspect. Now moving to the next component, and the next chapter is the population and settlement geography. So population and settlement geography is the 8th chapter of your paper 1. But as I said that population and settlement geography, I have broken in 2 chapters. So one of the chapter is population geography. You can say it is the chapter number 8A, that is population geography, and settlement geography is another within the chapter, another component. So we will look out the topics. Here we have a growth and distribution of world population. How the population right from the earlier time period, how the population emerged, what were the different important phases that has resulted into the sudden growth of the population. So population का किस तरीके से evolution हुआ, क्या क्या phases थे population growth के लिए, how the agricultural revolution has affected the population, how the industrial revolution has affected the population. So two very important aspect, agricultural revolution and industrial revolution, that you are supposed to study. Then we have demographic attribute. Demographic attributes covers variety of the topics. So demographic attributes refers variety of the topics like age, sex, then the different distribution, population density, then birth rate, death rate. So birth rate, death rate, all those component, birth rate, death rate. Also you will have a migration, growth. So all these are part of the demographic attributes you are supposed to study. The beauty is that in population geography you are supposed to study these in a very limited manner, but when it will be part of the paper 2, that is the India geography, तो India geography में जो आपका cultural setting chapter है, वहाँ पे आपको ये topics थोड़ा detail में पढ़ने होंगे. So for the India related, this demographic attributes is a detailed topic. Then we have a causes and consequences of migration. So one of the population demographic attribute is migration. So how causes and consequences means what causes migration and what will be the migration. In fact, there are lots of theories of the migration also. So इसी के साथ में आपको migration theories भी पढ़ना है. So there are different migration theories that you are supposed to study. Then we have some of the population theories. तो कुछ हमारी population theories हैं that you are supposed to study. Population theory mainly look out that how the population grows and it tries to predict the population growth. So it tries to predict the population growth. Here we have some of the important theories like the idea of the Malthus, then idea of Marx. Marx has not given a separate theory, but while writing about the capitalism, he has given the idea of the theory. Then we have the very popular and acceptable demographic transition theory. Along with this theory, also we have a concept of optimum population. So in a way, you can say optimum population is also one of the theory, but it is being written as a separately. Here you will have to study what is the optimum population, what is the underpopulation, and what is the overpopulation. So optimum, over, underpopulation. Then the most important, world population problem, because the population problem is not a generalized problem. Might be India's population problem is different from the Scandinavian country. Japan's population problem is different from the Indonesia's population problem. The Asia's population problem is different from the North America. Europe's population problem is different from the Africa. So that is world population problems and policies. Then social well-being and quality of life. Society is very important component. And population is associated with society, because in society you will find all the aspects of the society. A healthy society is very much associated with the population. So population is associated with the society. In healthy society comes the good quality of life. There are different components of the quality of life, like health is there, education is there, different component, but these two are very much mixed up, very much linked up. So if society is not well developed, society is not having a well-being, we cannot expect the good quality of life. And if the society is good, we definitely can expect the good quality of life, but it is not the mandatory that the good society will always have the good quality of life, because quality of life is little bit individual also. It is more or less like, might be the society is very good, but the people are just eating the junk food. So over the period of time, there will be some problem in the quality of life. Then we have a population as a social capital. How important is the population? Why everyone is talking about the demographic attributes? Like in India, you will come across with the concept of demographic dividends. How this demographic dividends will be reaped? What is this human resource? So human resource, how it is, population is being viewed as a resource that you are supposed to study. Now, if you look out the questions, so in 2023, there were 215 marker, that is 30 marks question has been asked in 2024, and in 2023, please keep in mind that this population and settlement is combined. So population settlement आपका combined है. So what is transnationalism? Why has the scale and scope of transnational linkages of diaspora multiplied in the recent time? In developed countries, migration rather than fertility will be the main driver of population dynamics over the next few decades related to the migration. Then human migration is a reflection of the balance between push and pull factors, elaborate with reference to the most recent diaspora. So again related to the migration. Now moving to the last component of this population settlement geography, settlement. So types and patterns of rural settlement. In fact, here we can look out the evolution of settlement, because the evolution of the settlement is very much associated with population. So population and settlement will go hand in hand. Then we have environmental issues in rural settlement. So rural settlement, how it affects the environment, but because this is not a one way. Environment affect the rural settlement and how the rural settlement is affecting the environment of the nature. Then hierarchy of urban settlement. Hierarchy of urban settlement. So from the rural settlement, now we have moved to the urban settlement. So again here, when we will study the evolution of settlement, there will be different evolution. That is how the rural and urban settlement evolve. Then hierarchy of settlement, like when you will look out in India also, you will find there are some of the settlement that are very big, like metropolitan cities. Then you will have the some other cities that is not that much big, but is still very big. Then you will have the state capitals. Then you will have the district headquarters. So there are different settlement. That is the hierarchy of settlement. Then comes urban morphology. Urban morphology is simply the land use. Like if you will notice that in urban area, there will be some of the places where district administration building is there. Most of the important buildings are there. Then there will be surrounding where some of the people are living, houses are there. Then outskirts are there. So this how this city develops, the land use being decided. That is the part of urban morphology. Associated with this hierarchy of settlement, we have a different concept. तो hierarchy of settlement कैसे आपकी ग्रो होती है, randomly नहीं ग्रो होती, तो बहुत सारे कॉन्सेप्ट हैं. So two very important concept of primate city and concept of rank size rule. Primate city talks about the primacy, rank size rules divides the cities in the different ranking. Then we have a functional classification of the towns. Functional classification of the towns like administrative towns, industrial towns, commercial towns, trading towns, coastal towns. So different towns is being classified based on its a function. Then we have a sphere of urban influence, how the urban areas, up to what extent the urban areas is extending, and their influence will be to the nearby rural areas. Very much limited, very much related to the concept of rural urban fringe also. Then we have a concept of satellite town, like to decongest the bigger cities. It was thought that the nearby some of the towns will be developed, like in India, mainly in Delhi, the Gurugram and this Noida have been developed as a satellite town. There are different satellite towns that are prevalent in our country. Then comes the most important, that is the problems of remedies of urbanization. So very first thing, that what is urbanization, the process of urbanization, the characteristic of urbanization, then the problems of urbanization, and then we'll look out the remedies of urbanization. And in end, the last topic is the sustainable development of the cities, because sustainable development cities are the healthy cities will result into the healthy society, and healthy society will result into the quality of life. So everything is very much linked up, and in this sustainable development of cities, everything will be looked out. The traffic will be looked out, the drainage facility will be looked out, the electricity will be looked out. So sustainable development of cities like a modern city, or some of the government's objective to come out with concept like smart cities. So this sustainable development of the cities. If you look out the questions, you will find that in 2024, 30 marks question has been asked, and in 2023, अगर आप देखेंगे तो it was like 75 marks question has been asked. So it is very important component, population and settlement, and you need to understand that the population and settlement together. So population and settlement is very important component of your human geography, and it gives a base, and most of the topics are very much doable, very easy to cover. So these are some of the questions, like central business district are in decline as the economic core of metropolitan cities critically examined. So these are some of the questions that has been asked from this topic. Now, as far as the books are concerned, the one book that can cover most of the topics related to the population and settlement will be the same book that we will use for the second part of this human geography, that is the economic geography, a book called Models and Theories in Human Geography by Majid Hussain. So Models and Theories by Majid Hussain is a book which will cover majority of the topic. As far as geographical thought is concerned, for the geographical thought, you can refer whatever the book suits you. Both the books are very good. One book is of by R.D. Dixit, the another one is by the Sudipta Adhikari. Both the books are very good, and there is no problem. There is no problem in the coverage of the book. It is only which books is more suitable to you, means which books you are more comfortable. So my suggestion will be to go with the R.D. Dixit book for the geographical thought. So that's it for these two chapters. We will cover the remaining chapters in the next session. Thank you.